It's a well-known fact that moving home is the most stressful process you can go through in life other than divorce. And often people are moving home at the same time as going through divorce, which makes it even worse. And yet, nothing has happened in the 25 years since the internet arrived that has improved it. It is arguably more stressful and takes longer to move house now than it did in the mid-1990s. And I came up with an idea called Property to Go, which was going to cut out estate agents and allow buyers and sellers to buy and sell their houses directly through a website called Property to Go. And no sooner had I begun that than I very, very quickly realised that no matter what people say or think about estate agents, the moving public, home sellers specifically, 95% of them or more choose to use an estate agent. In this video, I want to share with you the single most important finding or conclusion that I have arrived at after 20 years of asking myself the question, why is moving home so difficult, not only for movers, but for agents as well, when actually they both want the same thing. They both need the same outcome. Their interests are aligned. Both the movers and the agents need the move to happen. Otherwise, movers don't get into their new home and agents don't make their living. On this side, these glasses represent the homes that our three sellers live in. And these are three sellers who want to move out of their existing homes into their new dream home. And in order to do that, they've got to release the value of these homes, which is represented by the contents of each glass, release that value whilst holding on to as much of it as possible in order to buy their new home. In order to get out of their old home into their new home, you need an agent. And at the moment, people tend to just pick three agents at random, and right there is their first mistake and their biggest mistake. I want to show you the difference between bad, mediocre, and great estate agents. First time seller number one lives here, wants to live there. And the contents of that glass represent what that seller's home is worth. Okay? Because your home is worth whatever it's worth. What matters is whether or not you get what it's worth when you sell it. And that's where the choice of agent is critical. If you get the choice of agent right, and you find the best agent for you and your circumstances, you will get what your home is worth, or possibly even more than you expected. Home seller number one typically thinks, my house is worth the same no matter who sells it, and typically goes out and finds whichever agent's got the lowest fee, thinking that's going to save them money. Home seller number two is slightly less naive and goes, my house is worth this much, and I want to get my new home, but I know that there are going to be bad experiences. I'm going to be a bit more careful, and I'm going to go for one of the agents that I know is going to sell my house for me. And home seller number three, I need to make sure that I get the full value of my house, because I know that the difference between a great agent and the other ones is that the other ones won't actually get me what it's worth, because getting what it's worth is much harder and more complicated than selling it for a discount price. So I want to find an agent that I know will get me the maximum possible price of my house. And the point I want to make here is, whatever your house is worth, what matters is whether your agent gets you what it's worth. So this is what happens typically in this scenario. Seller number one has gone for the cheapest agent, mistakenly thinking the house is going to get the same price no matter who sells it. Massive mistake. First of all, these are the homes that tend to sit on the market. Typically, they've been overvalued by the agent to get the business, and they just sit on the market for ages. And the prospect of moving to this new home slowly moves further and further away. This home seller has had some viewings and had some offers. It's taken some time, and in order to afford this house, they need to make sure they get the maximum price, but the agent only gets them less than asking price. Maybe gets them 95% of asking price, 96% of asking price. I'm really sorry, that's the best we can get. I know we told you it was worth more, but the market's changed or something's changed, and I'm going to give you some rubbish excuse about why we can't get you asking price for your house. So I'm afraid the best we can do is 95% of your asking price. That means that I'm afraid home seller number 2 can no longer live in this home. They're going to have to accept a downgraded new home and live in that home, because what the agent got for this property wasn't enough for that house, right? So they're in the new house, but a lot of the value got wasted because the agent wasn't good enough to get them the maximum possible price. Seller number 1 hasn't even sold their house. They're still sitting there 6 months later with a for sale board outside the house, wondering why no one's buying their house, thinking it's all the agent's fault, which it is, but who chose that agent? If you're trying to sell your house and it's just sitting there with a for sale board outside and not selling, it's because you chose the wrong agent. Seller number 3, dream home, went out, made sure they found an agent that really knew what they were doing, that they trusted, that they felt able to work with personally, and in no time at all, seller number 3 is comfortably living in their new house. And the only wastage that came out of that was the cost of moving, right? Whereas over here, all of this value was just wasted because an agent couldn't be bothered to do the work to get them the best possible price. And the moral of this story is, if you want to be the only seller that gets into their dream home, whether or not you achieve that depends on which agent you choose. That is why your choice of agent matters more than any other decision you make when you're moving house. The problem that no one has ever been able to solve before until now, until BestAgent, is in every different postcode and every different town, you have no idea who your great agent is, who your best agent is. Nobody knows, because it's actually a personal choice each time. Every other website out there, for example, comparison websites, will only show you the agents that are signed up to their website, and they will only show you fee comparison, marketing comparison, and average performance. But that doesn't help you, because even those agents have sales that fail, and they have clients sitting in their old home. And so it's not practical for sellers to have to ring every single agent and repeat their life story every time. So what we've done with BestAgent is made a website where the seller just puts their basic details into that box and sit back while we notify up to 20 of the nearest agents that there is a, for example, 3-bed semi-detached house coming to the market within the next 2 weeks. Every agent is invited to show whether or not they are interested in that business. And typically, half of the agents we invite don't respond. You've saved a lot of time that you would have wasted ringing around agents that don't want your business. This is a fast way for any seller to find out which are the most efficient, keenest agents who are happy. Unless you want to be this seller or this seller, living either in their old house or in a new house that they didn't want to live in, the only way to make sure that you find the agent that's going to get you into your dream home is to use BestAgent. BestAgent.co.uk.